Hi, I'm Mr. Touchton. I am here with some friends of mine, and today we're going to talk about addition with fractions that have unlike denominators. So we're going to start off with this problem. This is 2/3 plus 1/2. Now we're going to do an area model to help find our equivalent denominators. And so we're going to start off like this. We're going to draw a couple squares like this right here. And our whole point is to try to find our lowest common denominator between these two numbers, 3 and 2. And the way we could do that is simply say, well, 2 can't go into 3, but I can multiply these and get a common denominator of, what is 3 times 2, guys?
6.
Excellent. Now, what I can do is I can basically create this with 2/3 shaded in. So I'm going to draw 2 lines here, and now I have thirds, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to shade in 2 of them. Okay, and I'm going to go over here and start with my 1/2. I'm going to draw a line right down the middle, and I'm going to shade in half of it. Now, I have to basically divide this up into 6 now because that is my least common denominator or lowest common denominator. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say over here, this is 3/3 and it's times 2. And this is halves and it's times 3. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically go down like this and create 2 rows for this one. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over here I'm going to create 3 rows so I can have it into 6 now. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3 rows going across. Now I have a total of 6. Now I have my new fractions here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 shaded in. So now I have 4/6 plus 1, 2, 3, 6, and I will get my answer of, what is it, guys?
You will get 7/6.
7/6. Now this is an improper fraction. Okay, Olivia, do you know what 7/6 is going to make as a mixed number? Do you want to solve it? You think you know? Give it a shot. You can write it right out here. Excellent. Good job, Olivia. So when we convert this to a mixed number, it is going to be 1 and 1/6. So we're going to move on to our next one. And I'm going to erase this over here so I have a little bit more room to solve it. And this one is 3/4 plus 2/3. So I'm going to draw 2 squares down here to represent an area model. Now, 3 can't go into 4, so 4 cannot be our common denominator. But we can multiply them like we did the last time. And if I take 4 times 3, what do I get as my common denominator? 4 times 3, guys?
12.
12. So I'm going to write these down here. And so I'm going to take this, I'm going to shade in 3/4 of it. So take that. Okay. Now I have 3/4 right here. And over here, I'm going to take this and divide it into 1, 2, 3 thirds. And I'm going to shade in 2/3 of it. Now, I've got to make these into 12ths now. So to make this denominator into 12ths, I had to multiply by 3. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to take this and I'm going to make 3 rows right here. 1, 2, 3. Over here, I had to multiply by what to get 12?
4.
So I'm going to make 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now let's take a look. I have how many shaded in, guys?
8.
8?
Well, 8
9.
9. Thank you. So over here, I have how many shaded in?
8.
8. So now this has become 9/12 plus 8/12, which equals
17/12.
17/12. And when I make that into a mixed number, it's I'm going to find some room real quick right here, actually. The way I'd make that into a mixed number is I'd take 17 and I'd divide it by 12. Okay, so 12 goes into 17 how many times, guys?
1.
Once. 1 times 12 is 12. I subtract. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my remainder and put it over my 12 right here. So it's going to be 1 and 5/12. So that is my answer right there, 1 and 5/12. Finally, we're going to move on to this last one right over here. I'm going to erase my division right here. And we're going to start, it's going to be 1/2, so I'm going to draw my squares out here. 1/2. I'm going to use my blue so I can make it a little less confusing when we look at it. Okay, 1/2 and 3/5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I have 3/5, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to So, can I use 5 as a common denominator? No, I can't. 2 can't go into 5, but what I can do is I can multiply them like I just did with these. So, if I'm taking 2 and I'm multiplying by 5, I'm going to get what number?
10.
10. So I'm going to divide these into 10. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to make it into 5 rows going across. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then over here, I'm going to take this and multiply by 2. So I'm creating how many rows going across?
10.
2.
2.
2. So I'm just going to split it in 2. And now, let's take a look at my new fractions. Since we had to multiply 5 and 2 to get our common denominator, we now have a common denominator of
10.
10. Excellent. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shaded in over here. And then how many do I have shaded over here?
6.
6. Excellent. And when I when I add that, I'm going to get
11 tenths.
11 tenths. So when I divide it to get my mixed number, I'm going to get 1 and 1 tenth. Now, I will explain one brief thing to us to make it a little bit shorter so we can take a shortcut sometimes. If we don't want to do the whole area method or box method here, if you will, and represent like that, we can do one way much easier. We know that 2 can't go into 5, so our common denominator has got to be these two numbers multiplied. So what I can do is I can take 1/2, excuse me, and I can say, well, I know it's multiplied by 5 to get my common denominator. And so I get 5 tenths when I do that. And I know 3/5 I'm going to have to multiply by 2/2 to get my common denominator right here. Well, 5 times 2 is 10, and 3 times 2 is 6. And then I can add them up and eventually get my mixed number. So that is all we have today. Thank you very much, and we'll be back soon. Thank you.